Question 6. What have you learned about technologies from the process of constructing the product? First, we had to research horror and thriller films and just to see what things that they used in their films that are out, so we could like take note and help us to plan ours. We used the internet and Google and YouTube to find trailers and again like watch horror thrillers to see what bits we could use in our own. And while we were researching, we specifically looked at the film The Purge, to which we watched different trailers and analysed the trailers and stuff because we wanted to base our film around what sort of happened in The Purge. Meaning we like looked at their trailers and I just said that, but anyway, we looked in the trailers to see what we could take from that, and we used the start of it. We used their alarm sounds in ours because we thought it looked good from what we researched. And while we were researching, we obviously searched in Google for conventions that we could write down to help us plan for our film. And obviously the planning for our film, we went out into Glinton, the area of Glinton near the school, to find locations which were isolated to make it look, because most horror thrillers are usually set in isolated places to make it seem more sinister and scary. So we'd found a couple of places. We first went to and found a location where it was no one was in there, no one was around there. It was just a long road to which it was dark as well. So in most horror films, the setting is usually dark. For the construction of our film, The Cullen, we used different cameras, professional cameras, such as the Nikon D5100, which is a professional camera which made the opening sequence itself look really professional because it wasn't. We used a tripod as well, which means we could stand up the cameras, which means it wasn't shaky because we were using tripods to hold it up. So it's a lot better than using a smartphone or something, which would be easier, but then it wouldn't look as professional. Also, by using an SD card, we could put them into the Mac and edit it straight from there, and it was quicker and simple than adding using a smartphone camera. We used different lenses to help zoom in and focus on certain things that we needed for the opening sequence. The editing software we used was on the Macs, which we have in school, and it's called Final Cut Pro. It's called Final Cut Pro, and I did media in year 10 and 11, which means I sort of knew my way around Final Cut, but we learned different things such as how to add different sounds in, how to delete sounds, how to add different effects and stuff on there to make it look as professional as we could. We used different filters on our opening sequence, such as we turned down the brightness of it and used low-key lighting in most of our footage so that we could convey to the audience that it was obviously a horror film because of it being dark and not light. You get the effect that it's sinister and scary. We added in different music. We found a soundtrack from the horror film The Woman in Black, which is what we found when we were researching as well, and we found the soundtrack on YouTube, to which we had to write to the actual music producer of that film to make sure that we were allowed to actually use his music in our opening sequence, so we can't get done for copywriting or anything. We edited in that for our title sequence so that it sounded better than just us and talking, and it made it seem a lot more sinister. We added in non-diegetic sounds of things such as the music when Grant turns around in one of the scenes to make it know that when that scary sound comes on, when Grant is in the footage, it's showing that Grant is the Grant is the antagonist of it, and knowing that when that sound comes on, you know that something scary is bound to happen, which is what happens in most horror thrillers. Yeah, because it builds up tension in a film, which is what most horror thriller films do. What else is there? We added in some Foley sounds as well. We added in Foley sounds to in our title sequence, when in our title sequence a candle gets blown out, we added in a Foley sound of a thunder, which obviously in a horror you always need a shock for the audience, and it sort of shocks the audience because it goes from calm, sort of sinister music to a loud, scary. Go away.
Sorry.
To a loud, scary bang, which shocks the audience. And this is in the title sequence, meaning that they are obviously we're preparing them for the actual opening sequence, which we then know is going to be sinister and scary. For our evaluation, I sat down one of our teachers, Mrs. Adie, and some other pupils in our class to watch our opening sequence to get feedback on whether what things they liked, what things they didn't like, things we could improve on as well. Most of the comments that we got back from that was that we first did a shot in I with 2 other actors, but they said that we couldn't really tell a narrative from it. So we had to basically scrap that and replan it, and then we used me, myself and Grant to be in it to make it seem more real, because we wanted a proper narrative in the opening sequence, because obviously it's only an opening sequence, not the full film, so we need to have a straight narrative which is straightforward and that the audience would understand if they were to watch it, which is hopefully what we've